bye week, bad matchup subs, or late draft pick quarterbacks, because you got to have two. You need a backup. It's essential. All matchups ain't good. Who you got as number one?
Number one is going to be Justin Herbert for me. Now, y'all know how I feel about Justin Herbert. I think he's going to be able to hop in, and you might not take him high. Now, you could take him high easily, but if you are looking for a quarterback that still could be there on the board for you, because not everybody's going to leap at him, I think you got to take a look at Justin Herbert. We know what he did as a rookie, and I see no reason for him to not accelerate in his second year in the NFL. Healthy Keenan Allen, great offensive line up front for him. I think it's going to give him plenty of time, and we know Herbert can run as well. Big arm, great vision already, so Herbert is going to be in that category for me.
I would have Herbert as like trade bait if I picked him that high.
There you go. Someone would buy for you.
He's a guy that you would want to pick if you were like 10th or 11th in your draft. Like, he would be like your starter. That's why I don't have him there. Mm-hmm. I think for my number one guy here would be Cam Newton, because we're talking about a bye week or a bad matchup substitute quarterback that's going to get you good points. He was 19th in fantasy points last year, including like all running backs and everyone. He went for 2,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, but he also ran for another 600 yards and 12 touchdowns. Just as we've been saying, rushing yards and touchdowns actually count more for the quarterbacks than their passing. So if they do both, then they kill it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Wide receiver, tight end upgrades. The strength of schedule is 19th this year, down from first last season. And he's not coming off a COVID year with a new team, with an extra year in the offense. So I think Cam would be a very viable guy to have for your fantasy roster to sub in for your starter if indeed they either have a very bad matchup or a bye week. Who you got it to?
Number 2 is going to be Lamar Jackson, and I know people are probably wondering why he wasn't higher on my list, but here's the thing. Lamar Jackson had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons on the ground. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I'm giving Lamar about a 700 to an 800, maybe 900-yard window this year. I think the NFL, like you mentioned before we got on, everybody's going to be looking to get Kamara on the ground. Everybody's going to be looking to get Lamar Jackson on the ground, and I don't think Lamar is going to be confident throwing the football. 2,800 yards last year. Look, I get the 99 passer rating. Before the Ravens fans jump in the comments, call the line, whatever you're going to do. I know it's coming, but Lamar does worry me about passing the football, especially if you're talking about going towards a title in fantasy. And I know he's got weapons. They went and got some guys for him, but is he going to have that confidence to hang in the pocket, be with the pressure, and deliver the football? I want to see more of that outside of the MVP season. Got to prove it to me at number 2 on my list.
Number 2, I'm taking Jalen Hurts.
Ooh, that's a very good one.
Last season in his 4 starts, 919 yards. That's 230 yards a game. 5 touchdowns, 272 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. On average for his 4 games, that's 25.5 fantasy points per game. Just to give you reference, Josh Allen was number 1 in fantasy points per game last season at 25.3. Given this was a full season, it's hard to actually compare them that way. But the potential that Jalen has is averaging more points than anyone averaged for fantasy all of last season. Absolutely a great pickup for fantasy for a backup guy. And they have the 32nd worst strength of schedule. They play the easiest schedule in the entire NFL.
Oh, yeah. He'll
pick him up, sit on him when you need him, pop him in there. Who you got at 3?
Number 3 is going to seem crazy, but I do have Aaron Rodgers here. He has the best wide receiver. Yes, absolutely. Because you're talking about if you are going to be falling down, and yes, you could have Rodgers picked high in some of these rounds, but if you're talking about potentially looking past him, he could be hanging out there for you. And I don't think Rodgers is a guy that could sling and get you a fantasy championship over a Mahomes, over a Allen, over a Kyler, like I've been mentioning. That's why I think he has the potential in some of these leagues to fall down. And we know he has Devontae Adams at his exposure. 18 touchdowns last year, best wide receiver in the NFL. Bob Tonyan being a great tight end. Aaron Jones still staying there. And overall, with Aaron Rodgers having his last year in Green Bay, coming off the MVP year, who knows what he'll deliver to us. So that's why some people might not know if they want to grab him right up front. I mean, Rodgers kind of does wonder, you kind of do wonder, what is he going to be in his last year in Green Bay? We'll see.
Hey, man, I'm giving you Teddy Bridgewater at 3. 22nd in fantasy points last year with Carolina. Now in Denver, 27th ranked strength of schedule, so they're not playing a difficult schedule. He's got Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams behind him. Play action will be working. Dump off to the running backs. Yards after catch. Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, KJ Hamler, Cortland Sutton. Think he's definitely a viable substitution play when you need to actually go with a different quarterback. It's because you have a bad matchup or a bye week. So you got a 4.
Number 4, Matthew Stafford. Stat patter in Detroit. You go to LA, immediate coach upgrade, wide receiver upgrade, line upgrade. I mean, everything is upgrading for him. And a lot of people, again, I feel like they're going to try to jump on him early, but you don't know what he's going to be. And if you're talking about maybe some inconsistency with a Matthew Stafford, that's why he feels great at a number 4 pick right here. You know he's going to have touchdowns. He's going to have yards, but is he going to be consistent week in and week out? That's why you can sit on him and pop him in, like you said, when you have a bad matchup.
Okay, at number 4, I got Sam Darnold.
Ooh.
He's going to be available. 26 in strength of schedule.
What?
He's got a healthy Christian McCaffrey. He's got Chuba Hubbard. So, I mean, he's got a very strong running game behind him. McCaffrey is excellent in the passing game, so he dumps off. Those yards are going to count for the quarterback as well. He's got a Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Terrence Marshall. He's got a nice complement of weapons to go along with a very weak schedule this season. If you need a quarterback to sub in, he is a very good option, and he will be available in most leagues. This isn't the guy you're going to want to go with week to week.
Right.
If you've got a bad matchup with your current quarterback, you can sub in a Sam Darnold. He fits. Mm-hmm. Who you got at 5?
Number 5, a guy that I'm so excited to see play in the NFL. It's going to be Justin Fields. I am so excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. Allen Robinson has been a good receiver, great receiver, really. We talked about him in our wide receiver list, and he hasn't had a true QB1 to deliver him the ball consistently. We know Justin Fields has a great arm, awesome vision, and he can... Ooh. I thought we just cut me, my bad. And he can also move extremely well on the ground. We talked about those points you can get on the ground with the touchdowns, yards, and I think he's going to be able to actually get some yards through the air early on in his playing. I think he'll be out there week 1, and you can sit on him at number 5.
All right, I got Ryan Fitzpatrick at number 5. 15th ranked strength of schedule, dead smack in the middle of the league almost. Week 9 is his bye week, and this is why I'm giving you him as a viable backup, because most of the top quarterbacks in the league's bye weeks are between week 11 to 14. In week 11 to 14, he plays Carolina, Seattle, Vegas, and Dallas. None of those defenses are good. He will put up numbers in those games. If your quarterback is on a bye week, sub in Ryan Fitzpatrick. He'll get you the numbers that you need to keep you rolling from week to week.
Yep.
Like that's why I have him there.